talking about heart rates today and how they interact with running and of course my perspective. So to me, I think there's three different categories of runners when it comes to heart rates. And I guess the question of the day is, which category do you fit in? I believe the categories are: people ignore heart rates, people semi use heart rates, and when it works to their benefit. And also, I think heart rates work for um, also works for those who might be training by heart rate. For me, I'm kind of in the middle group, and I use it in two different parts of the, I guess, training cycle. The way I use heart rates today is in the base period. So when I am trying to get and establish my heart rate at the easy pace. So right now I'm trying to get my easy pace at 7:30 pace per mile. So while I'm trying to achieve that, I will not go to the next phase in training till I get my heart rate around in the 150s. So that can take quite some time depending on how in shape I am. And it's been quite a challenge because recently I've only been running 3 days a week for a separate challenge. The other way is during this heat. So currently we're starting to head into lots of heat, and so I will be looking at my heart rates to make sure that it doesn't get too high, because if it gets too high, then I will slow down regardless of what phase I'm in, because I do not want to, one, get heat stroke, or to just die out there. So those are the two times I use heart rates. The rest of it I kind of use as like a gauge. I kind of look at it. I had a question not too long ago about someone asking about their heart rate, and they were saying whether it was reliable or not. In my opinion, it can be reliable. It depends on your watch, and I believe sometimes it glitches. Actually, mine does a lot for whatever reason. So at the beginning, sometimes it won't even catch my heart rate, and other times I feel like my heart rate is under control, but it's saying like some exuberant amount of number, like I should be collapsed on the ground, because at that heart rate, lactic why can't I say the word? Lactate threshold should been already ensuing, and lactic acid should be pooling in my legs, and I should be stopping. So sometimes I feel like the watches do lie. So actually, when it comes to heart rates, I feel my heart rate. How does my heart rate feel? And I kind of lean on that and look at my watch to determine what, if the heart rate is good enough or not. And it just gives me actually in the morning, if I see that my resting heart rate is climbing, that could be a good indication of me getting sick. So I do believe that can help there. Not all the time, but it definitely can help. I find watches are helpful, but if you rely too much on your technology and not so much being connected with yourself, I really feel like as a runner, you're missing out on a lot of potential and a lot of things that you can benefit from running, not just from a competition perspective or a improvement perspective, but just enjoying running overall. If you're too worried about the gadgets and gadgets and not so much on how you feel in that moment, I feel like you miss out on a whole aspect of running. So I really like that. I definitely believe I rely mainly on how I feel, but there's just certain times that I use heart rates. But some people, and I don't want to discredit anybody out there who uses heart rate to train, they're especially hard when you get into the when you're doing track workouts, I definitely do not even pay attention because the heart rate monitor is kind of off in my perspective in that realm. And actually, my watch sometimes seems a little delayed on even pace. So, but it's kind of like I kind of find tech as more of the confirmation, not the go-to source. Because if my heart rate says 100 and let's say 80 on those weird days, and I relied on that, not how much I felt, I would probably not run as good as I do in races. It's really hard. I mean, if you ever look at your heart rate at the beginning of a race, it's like way up there. Your adrenaline's going, and if you're using heart rates to determine how you're going to do and how fast you should run, most people wouldn't even get off the start line because your heart rate is so high with excitement and everything. So I kind of, so that's just my take on heart rates. Until next time, we will talk about something different. Not sure what we'll talk about, but I'm sure I'll have a good topic to talk about next week. So until then, happy running.